else. People are asking, where's Darren? Darren Criss, by the way, Rwanda in the house. Darren Criss on the way. And hopefully he just goes and adds me. So let's see, Darren. Is this Darren? Let's see, Darren. All right, let's get him going. Here we go, ladies. And you came, Darren Criss, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo,
Darren
oh
Criss,
man,
where's he at? Oh,
sorry about that. That took so long. Oh,
can you hear the music?
I do now. It's great.
That's me, man. It's a little something I put together in my garage.
Yeah, well, you sound good. You let me know when it's
Thank
on
you.
Spotify, like or any app, music anywhere, really. I shouldn't be specific to Spotify. Hey, bud.
How you doing,
Happy
man?
quarantines. I'm okay. I'm sorry for the delay. It's crazy. The wheel just keeps spinning over here, man. Because I'm doing this press conference for Hollywood. This show on Netflix comes out in like May 1st. So it's like everything's time has stopped, but it hasn't.
Yeah. You've got so many projects, 3 specifically that we're going to talk about. But first things first.
Oh boy.
You look good. You're healthy. Family's okay.
Thank you.
guys
We're all right.
okay?
The lighting okay. We look okay. I don't look like my corona hair growing out.
Have you showered today? Have you brushed your teeth? You could be honest with me.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not even wearing pants.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. That makes 2 of us, man.
Yeah, like why? Why bother? No, I'm freshened up by this live stream. That's my cleansing move of the day.
So I was doing some Googling before just to kind of catch up on what you've been up to and your projects. And I love it because the paparazzi has nothing to do right now. And the first story that popped up was like you walking with your wife. Just
Dude,
walking with your wife. That's a news story now.
I'm glad you brought this up because that doesn't really happen to me. So I go, wow, these guys are really bored. I've never a thing that I have to the point where when I saw those, I wasn't even mad. I was just like, man, they are really just scraping at the bottom of the barrel. And I went, well, at least he's working. You know, these are tough times. Like, I'm sure, like, if you have to take pictures of me, then you're like, you can't help but feel bad for the guy. And what's so funny is that we hadn't left the house in so long that we finally went out because our neighbor's kid we saw was playing soccer and the ball went into the gutter. And the kid started crying, and so we saw this, and we were like, "Oh, poor kid. Hey, we got that soccer ball in the back. Why don't let's bring it over. Let's get some air. Let's get out of the house. We've been in here too long." So we go out, and like we think we're doing like this nice thing. Like we haven't met these neighbors. We're like, "Hey, here's the ball. We saw that happen," and we feel good about ourselves. We're outside for like, I don't know, like 4 minutes, and then we go outside, and we were rewarded with artfully unflattering photos, as only the paparazzi know how. I'm sure they have good photos, but they like delete them. I was like impressed with just
a good one.
They would never, but I was like, I went outside for 2 minutes for like a nice thing, and then you're like, oh, Darren just walking around like outside of the house when he should be quarantining. I was like, bro, like serves me right for trying to do something nice. I couldn't believe that, but I'm so glad you brought that up because I was just laughing. I was like, what? Poor guy.
It gave me a good
anyway,
laugh.
That's my story.
Well, I've been talking
stories
to a lot
from
of
Hollywood
people.
for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've been talking to a lot of people about, especially married folks who are quarantined with their significant other right now. And we've gotten in 3 fights, kind of 4 argument type fights, not big fights, just little nitpicky at each other.
Thanks.
Do you have any advice?
Par for the course.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any advice for those that are quarantined with a loved one and maybe you're getting a little irritable with them?
Well, you better get used to it. Start being okay with it would be my first piece of advice. I don't know. Every couple's different. Everybody responds to, being in closed quarters differently. So I can't give a one-size-fit-all piece of advice. I don't know. Find fun things to do that, I don't know. I got nothing. I would say just suck it up, man.
Yeah, suck it up.
Dear.
I love it. We'll take it. By the way, your Wi-Fi is going out a little bit. I don't know if you want to jump off Wi-Fi, but everybody's commenting Darren versus blurry, Darren versus Wi-Fi, which is kind of creative and funny. but we'll try to get the connection the best we can. Shout out to my wife. Oh, that's
sorry. Here, here's what we're gonna do. We're running to a place that's closer. All right, I'm gonna hold it over here where it might be a little closer to the thing. Now I'm gonna hold it up, so it's gonna be cinema verite. All right, here we go. Is this better?
Let me know and I'll speed it up. Yeah, that's actually
it's okay. This is my workout for the day.
Workout for sure. So, as everybody else has been in quarantine like yourself, we've kind of been going through this thing together. Have you felt more creative, or has this been more of a restful time for you?
Well, I'm very fortunate for a variety of reasons because you know, my hat goes off to all the folks around the world that have little ones at home. That is a Herculean task that I cannot praise higher and be in awe of. You know, we don't have kids. There's just us, and my free time is spent doing things I would like to do. Whereas I know a lot of parents, you know, not only do they have to keep their kids entertained, engaged, nourished, fed, all that stuff, they also still have to work from home. So truly a Herculean task. Because that is not part of my situation, and I say this because I feel guilty saying that I've been enjoying this time, but of course I would not have wanted it to come at the expense of a chaotic world outside, millions of lives being endangered, the economy being, you know, on the verge of collapse. Like, obviously, if I could take that variable out, I would, but because I have this time, I have made gallons of lemonade out of these lemons. I have been I don't have time at home ever. I don't get to be at home, much less with my wife. So there was enough going on. I have to promote Hollywood. I have to promote my show for Quibi. I got to get involved in all these amazing philanthropic outreach things that are happening right now for people in entertainment. I'm writing the next thing. I get to do things that I always dream of, which is like I get to practice my drums. I get to, you know, write my songs, work on all the projects, do stupid things like buy Legos or video games, stuff that I haven't done since I was 10.
Yeah.
And then I get to, you know, learn Japanese and all these other things. Like every day is so full. Like there is not enough time in the day. I've been in quarantine for a month and it feels like it's been a day.
I know. It's kind of crazy how sometimes you get busier in this moment, and hopefully, you know, like you, people are using it, time wisely. So if
you're creative, it's nice. And I encourage anybody that has the free time, like this is an unprecedented time to do the stuff you always wanted to. Like if you're not going to clean that drawer, that closet out now, you're never going to do it. So do it. Yeah.
So you recently were getting ready to go on Broadway, American Buffalo. I mean, it was happening in April. And then, of course, this happened. And like all the other shows in production, Broadway in general, it had to shut down. So obviously, people were wondering if that's going to be happening still. Is it still looking like June, depending on what the rules in New York are? Or is it just the crapshoot on when it's going to happen now?
Yeah, it's anyone's guess. You know, we're lucky. We're still full steam ahead. You know, I was mentioning the things that I'm doing with my, quote, free time, even though it doesn't feel free time. It's right. You said something. It's funny how like free time tends to just go up. But I'm still rehearsing the play. You know, I'm FaceTiming with the guys, with Sam Rockwell and Lawrence Fishburne. I'll just pick that name up off the ground.
No biggie, buddy.
That's a FaceTime that I look forward to every time. We're still working on the show, so we're still full steam ahead. We have no idea when we're going to go back. Obviously, we have very little interest in going back if it is at the risk of anyone's safety. So hopefully that'll, work itself out. I don't know. And God, I hope by July, but I am definitely the last person on the totem pole to know what that is going to look like. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But we have not shut down, which is really encouraging. We would have opened this past Tuesday. Wow. That would have been opening night. So I hope everybody who was involved in Broadway, because that's hundreds, if not thousands of men and women that are currently out of a job, craftspeople, designers, and it's not just actors, it's a whole industry and the economy of New York City too. So hopefully we can get that back on its feet soon.
Well said. Me too, man. Well, you talked about Lawrence Fishburne and you talked about Sam Rockwell. Even though you have an Emmy, you got a Golden Globe, you got a ton of awards to your name, there's still got to be that moment where you're jumping on a FaceTime with these two legends and you kind of have the geek out moment, right?
It never gets old. Like I don't think any accolade can match the unbridled excitement and fulfillment one gets getting to work and be around people that you truly admire. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, you're freezing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you, which is so weird because I don't. You're frozen too, but I can hear you.
Well, at least if people can hear.
I'm gonna jump back on. Let's see.
You don't need to see
I'll
my
jump back on
face.
with you in 1 second, okay?
Yeah, no worries. I'll just hang out
We
with everybody
have to
else here.
see you.
It's
Okay,
all
hey,
right.
so I'm gonna
Here,
jump back on it and we'll start it up again.
sure.
It's gonna work sometimes. It's Darren on. Let's see, Darren. There he is. There he is. There he is. He's back.
I think everybody who's watching this can attest to like this is just par for the course for everybody everywhere, whether it's on Instagram Live or like when you're Zooming or FaceTiming your family. There's the good 10 to 15 minutes of this. Huh? Yeah, honey, I got it on. Is this?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Hey, I can't hear you. There's like a good 20 minutes of that. So considering
I'm
we've only
running
spent,
the laundry.
yeah, there's some dog eating something. It's like this is real life. All right.
Dude,
So
I've interviewed you a million times on red carpets and it's so glamorous and ostentatious, but like this is real life. I love it. It's
this is
refreshing.
great. Yeah, this is very relaxed, man. So I don't know what you're talking about. We're talking about just there's no accolade in the world that could amount to the absolute pure ecstasy of what it is to be around people that inspire you, and I'm not just saying that to be cliche. Like Sam Rockwell in particular, he was a guy because he's from the Bay Area. Like when I was a kid, he was a character actor that made it in New York as a theater actor, and that was like the benchmark of what I wanted to do. He was the template, and that's not even mentioning Lawrence, Fishburne. Can I cuss? Can I cuss on this?
You can do whatever you want, man.
Lawrence motherfucking Fishburne. You know what I'm saying? Like that was without even mentioning how cool he is. And so, the dream as a kid was not to like be in film and television. It was to hopefully be around the people that you respect so intensely and working hard enough to the point where maybe you could earn their respect. Like that is the constant chase and the dream. So when I get to do that, I don't know if they respect me, but they certainly have to work with me. So
I'm sure they do, man.
getting to FaceTime with them is a dream that I cannot even articulate. It's the greatest feeling.
You're one of the good ones out there, and you haven't changed. You got the awards, you got the recognition, you have fame, but you still seem very humble and a normal guy. Is there anybody that you've looked up to in this business and kind of emulated in that aspect, or is this ingrained in you and is this how you were raised?
I think it's just baked in because it wasn't like handed to me. Like I worked hard for this, and so I know that it's fleeting, and I know that, I don't feel like entitled to any of it. Like I hope for everything, but I expect nothing. So any success that I manage to collect is always met with awe and wonder and again, the sense of transience and that it's fleeting. Also, I surround myself constantly with people who I believe are just so infinitely more able at things that I am, that I'm just constantly intimidated and inspired by people to be better, that I guess there's never this sense that I've reached the top of the mountain. Like I'm always I like climbing. Like I don't know if I ever want to get to the top of the mountain because that's a really lonely, scary place to be, and there's only one place to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So,
Also, I just always have fun. I'm like, I'm a funaholic. It's just I'm always having a good time. So maybe it just looks like I'm just a normal guy when actually I'm just a crazy person that's a happy idiot.
we all are, right?
I hope so.
Hey, so we got to talk about this Disney family sing-along. It's on ABC tonight. It's crazy because I had Derek Huff on yesterday. I had Aaron Andrews on a couple days ago. So many people have given their time to entertain during this wild time, and I want to know what you're singing or what you're dancing about. What's going to be happening on your end?
Well, I'll tell you, man. I was reading an article in like Deadline or something that was like, oh, ABC's doing a family sing along, including all these people, and I was like, oh, like they didn't want to ask me. I'm not doing anything. And then I got a call later, so I was very excited that I got that call because I don't know if you know this about me, but most of my career as like a late teenager, early 20s was playing Disney songs, in bars and restaurants and cafes and pubs, like where my hometown of San Francisco, my college town of Ann Arbor, and New York and LA. And I played twice a week here in Los Angeles at Maggiano's. And I was like the guitar piano guy.
Wait, which Maggiano's?
The one at the Grove.
What?
I played for almost 2 years. I was the pianist and singer every Thursday and Sunday brunch. And I would play, my whole rule to myself was that I would play for like I'd play for 4 or 5 hours straight and never repeat the same song. And I would do this constantly. Now I have my own piano bar because it's sort of a nod to my early days here in LA, doing the exact same thing. And what's even funnier is that I would end up doing the same thing on Glee, like singing other people's songs. Like I had done that forever. But back to the Disney thing, the reason why I bring that up is because my kind of specialty, what I liked doing was I would always play Disney tunes in like a weird style, because you play all the standards. And then as soon as you bust out like the Little Mermaid, people are like, the fuck? Like, is that, are you playing like Ariel's song? I'm like, yeah. And so that was always the big tip maker. And so I always had a history. And my earliest videos on YouTube, 2007, are me in my room in college playing those covers. You can look at it. It's like from 2007, I got my big old hair and I'm playing Part of Your World and Reflection and DuckTales. So that was like my gig. So doing this is just a nod to that. And we turned it around in like 12 hours. They sent me a camera, did it. And it's me doing a bunch of different things with the Louis Prima tune from The Jungle Book, I Want to Be Like You. I figured it was a song nobody was going to do. I want to do something that was a little left of center.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love the full circle moment. And and I didn't know that you were at Maggiano's. I'm sure I probably saw you there because I used to frequent that one all the time. That would be wild. There's
about a 90% chance that you were there.
That's so rad. What time is the ABC sing-along on tonight?
Oh, boy. I should know the answer to that question, but I'm sure someone has that information and can give it thoroughly, and it might rhyme with the Schminternet.
They could Google it. It's easy. I'm sure Disney and ABC's posted about it.
8/7 Central is my wild guess. That seems
8/7 Central usually is the safest bet.
Yeah, I think so. But a whole bunch of cool people are doing it. I can't wait. Like I'm even if I wasn't a part of this, I would turn my TV on to watch this. Like it's gonna be rad.
Nice. So then on top of that, and you kind of touched on it in the very beginning, Hollywood, Netflix, May 1st, you're the EP and you're starring in it with another Ryan Murphy production, which you always thrive in. How did he present the idea to you? I know you guys had dinner about it, right?
Yeah, well, I won't, first of all, I did not like pitch this show just before anybody, like Ryan sees me, like, what are you talking about? We were just having drinks and, like you do, you just started riffing on like what you'd want to do next. And I said, well, if we did something together, give me like words, like, what do you want to do? He's like, I just want to do something hopeful, young, and period. And so then I brought up, a couple people and stories from 1940s Hollywood, because I'd always wanted to make a series about a bunch of different, men coming out of the war, being discharged from the Navy or the Army, coming back to Los Angeles. Was a very interesting time for a variety of reasons. Just that juxtaposition of, a very violent event and now being dropped off in the most glamorous part of the country and one of the most glamorous times for its industry. And anyway, there was just a lot of interesting people that we talked about and stories. And then he just got really excited about it because we're both we both gravitate towards like dualities, like things that, things that are very beautiful about very sort of seemingly ugly things, and things that are very ugly about seemingly beautiful things, right? So we wanted to explore sort of the underbelly of what is otherwise a very glamorous sort of world. And we were just riffing, honestly. There was really nothing specific, because everybody loves the Hollywood 1940s world.
It's the best.
And then he like sold it 2 days later. He's like, we're doing it. And he's like, do you mind if I do my thing on it? As if I would have a problem, as if like I was going to go off and write the show. I was like, no, of course, you're Ryan Murphy. Yeah, hell yeah, man, do your thing. And so he did, and he was very gracious to include me. as an exec producer. Even when he offered it, I was like, that's very kind of you, but like, this is your baby, you do your thing. Like, and he was like, don't be an idiot, take it. And so it was very gracious of him to like include me, I think, just as an act of goodwill towards our initial conversation. Yeah, he was very receptive of my input early on, but it's all Ryan, Ian Brennan, and Janet Mock doing their thing. And I'm, for the most part, I'm just acting in it, but it is a story about, the hopes and dreams of young people in Hollywood at that time. And it's kind of we call it faction. It's a mix of fact and fiction.
Fact
And
and fiction, yeah.
it is absolutely giving old Hollywood the new Hollywood ending it never got. So it is kind of a revisionist view. Like a lot of Ryan Murphy's things, we're showing you the world as we would have liked it or we would like it to be.
Sure.
So there's my
Play
byline.
director.
I play a director. Sorry, I've been doing this for the past 6 hours on this press junket, so it's like so
No, the more the merrier, because there wasn't really a ton out there about it. Other trailers out there, but the more you can tell us, I mean, your fans are gonna freaking go nuts. They already are.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the show would have been very appealing without the pandemic. But given the circumstances that we're all in, man, it just sweeps you off your feet. I mean, if anybody wants to really have a nice warm fuzzy feeling, throw on any of the great classics from the 40s. Talk about a departure from, the walls of your home or your apartment. It takes you to a different time and place. And that's the thing that's always been appealing about that world. Even when I was shooting the show and I didn't even tell people the plot, across the board, unanimously, when I would say, oh, I'm working on a show about 1940s Hollywood, everybody would go, oh, man, I just love that time period, the music, the clothes. It's so cool. It's so glamorous. And I wouldn't even tell them the plot. And I think that's how we all feel. It's like sci-fi or fantasy. It has its own mythology, except the only difference is it actually happened, right?
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the thing that'll really appeal to people. It's definitely a really fun escape, and it's a very charming, fun romp. We explore a lot of social issues, as a lot of Ryan's shows do. He kind of, there's the bait and switch of the really fun and sexy thing. Like, here's a musical number, but we're really talking about this. Where this is like, here's the 1940s, look how glamorous, but we're really talking about this very important thing that is still very relevant today. But we're not beating anybody over the head. It's a really fun, sexy romp. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but the performances are a lot of fun. And, I was watching it just being swept off my feet by the costumes of everybody, just going, God, everybody looks so cool. I definitely don't look that cool in real life.
I heard you call it a little naughty in one interview.
Oh yeah.
Naughty?
It gets naughty. Yeah. It definitely looks at some of the more salacious things of Hollywood. If we mainly think of the, the glitz and glamour, those people had to get down too.
I know what you're saying.
As we always have and always found a way to do.
Right.
It might not be in those movies, but it definitely was there in the time. Behind closed doors.
That's
yeah.
Perfect way to describe it, man. I'm pumped to see it. Anything that you're in, I know is going to be good, and I truly mean that. And you mentioned earlier that you have a bar in Hollywood. So many bars, restaurants, all closed around the world, struggling. Yeah. I know there's some people you probably had to let go for a little bit, but the goal, I'm sure, is to bring it back as soon as you can and keep people smiling and happy there. Yeah. It's not just a normal bar. I mean, it's a pretty amazing place.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I mean, I'm thinking of my staff and everybody, and not just us. There's so much money to be raised for so many important, people, medical costs, and like I mentioned, the parents, and a lot of relief efforts that are being made that I always feel so guilty when I go, God, I got to figure out a way to make money for our bar. But then I go, and millions of other businesses around the world are also trying to figure that out. So we're trying to take care of our own in whatever way we can. And I think I might have a little mini fundraiser between our friends to try and help out some of our staff and the people that, are currently at want without the job. But, I'm in the business of people coming together, as is my wife with the bar. Hers is through the hospitality industry, and mine is through entertainment. The human experience of togetherness is my most used color in my painter's palette. So while I'm sad that people can't be together right now, for financial and business reasons, I think of it as a nice reset button for everybody to really to really cherish and realize, damn, like, being with other human beings is an integral part of the human experience. Like, we can do this on the phones, but even the other day when I went for a walk and we walked on the other side of the street as one of our good friends that was happening to walk by, my tail was like wagging off my body. Like, I couldn't believe just how happy I was to see this person in real life. And you realize that is what the human experience is and what it needs and it craves. And thank God we can do, this right now, because 30 years ago we would be slowly going mad, as many people are. So I'm just proud to be in an industry where we can bring people together. And I am both excited and a little scared for what's going to happen when this blows over, because I, for one, am going to go crazy.
It's going to be a night.
Yeah, it's going to be a day, a week, who knows? I don't care who you are. I'm going to make out with the first person I see in the street. Like, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to drink with everybody. I love people. That's why I do this for a living, man. I just love human beings, and to not be able to gather people is a bummer. But again, for a lot of people, hopefully they realize how special of a thing that is. And in the meantime, things like Hollywood or the Quibi show or any of the other things I have coming out can hopefully be just a small piece of reminding people of the group experience.
Brother, I love it. Before I let you go, two things. So many people want to see your nails. I'm just reading the comments.
They busted. Girl, they busted right now. Look at this. Because this is the guitar finger. So obviously that's scratched out, and that's just, it's lame. It's not to be proud of. If I had more, on fleek nails, I'd be flaunting them, but they're busted. These are musician nails, all right? They get a little, they've seen a bit of rock and roll.
There are hard-working stories on those nails.
They are. Maybe I'll reapply after this, so for the next live stream, I'll look a little more fabulous.
Fair. Yeah. And then where are the awards? Where's the Emmy? Where's the Golden Globe? Are they close by? Are they in a box? Can you show me? Hopefully you have Wi-Fi there.
The Emmy is by we're good. Yeah, I don't want to lose the Wi-Fi, but the Emmy is by the piano. Okay. And the Wi-Fi should go that far, but let's not play with fire. And then the Golden Globe is at my mom's. Wow. My mom and dad's. I dedicated it to her, so she has it. Which, honestly, now that I think about it, I was lucky enough to collect a few pieces of hardware. Oh shit! You got me? Okay.
I got you. Yep.
That was the last one that I got. So if that had been the first one and I didn't have any others, maybe I wouldn't have been so generous. But by that point, I definitely gave that one to her, because I dedicated that to her and to my dad too. But my dad is so selfless that I think by dedicating it to my mom, I was kind of dedicating it to him as well.
I'm sure that moment was pretty emotional, man. You're a stand-up guy. And
thanks, dude. Can I selfishly promote one more thing, because I never brought it up? Tell me. Yeah, Quibi? If you haven't noticed, I can talk forever. Yeah. So the Quibi thing, which is like the Wild West for everybody. Well, I hope that the app does okay. This show that I have coming out on it is, I have never worked harder on anything in my life and been so frustrated and excited by something. It's like all things that are passion projects. They always find a way to break your heart in some way. But because Quibi didn't exist yet, it was crazy to be working on something. Like, every ounce of my body and mind was put into this show for so long that getting to talk about it is such relief, because everyone's like, oh man, you must be so busy working on Hollywood. And I'm like, that's nothing. All I got to do is act on that show. Whereas, right. This is a show I created, I produced, I wrote all the songs, I'm acting in it. I was in every piece of it. And so it finally comes out on June 1st, and I'm super excited to roll out more after Hollywood comes out. But that's less about shameless promotion and more to tell people that if they are interested in what I'm doing, that's like the big kahuna. I was working on that and Hollywood and LC Fest and a ton of my other things at the same time. This was the busiest year of my life.
Dude, that's so great to hear that. And for people that don't know, Quibi stands for Quick Bite. So it's short form content. So you can knock out, I'm sure, an episode in like 5 to 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, our episodes are about 5 to 8 minutes, and it's called ROYALTiES. It's about it's kind of my love note to the other side of my life, which is being a songwriter. It's about songwriters in Los Angeles. It's a very scrappy, wacky, screwball short form comedy about songwriters that have to write a different song for a different artist every episode. And we have a whole bunch of amazing guest stars each episode that play different artists. And I play one of the songwriters with a young actress named Heather Donahue. And the like I said, really wacky, goofy, and we're really proud of the songs and hope that people can enjoy the silliness of that show. So that's just another one of the many irons in the fire that I'm trying to maintain.
From Maggiano's to Broadway to Golden Globe to Emmys to Quibi to ABC Tonight to Netflix, dude, you're doing it, man. It's incredible to hear. We're rooting for you.
Thanks, man.
And, wishing you all the health and all the best. And let us know if you need anything. We'll be here for you, okay?
Thanks so much, man. It's great to talk to you.
You too, Darren. Bye, everybody. Thanks,
all right,
guys.
bye, guys.
All right, follow E in the Room, at E in the Room. We're going to be doing more of these over on that page. And that's it. Mwah. All right. Gotta go. Bye. Baby, baby, baby.